Welcome to the Oddity Shop, where the bizarre is always on sale.
Hey everybody, welcome back to the Oddity Shop. I am Zach, sitting with Kara, who is already hearing voices or ringing in her head.
It was a telephone ringing, and it wasn't in my head. It was on your audio.
All right, well, Kara is hearing phantom telephones, so we're starting off on a good foot today.
Mm-hmm.
How was your birthday?
I mean, I worked.
Super exciting.
Yeah, yesterday was my birthday. I worked, and then I just went out with some of our friends for dinner.
How does it feel to be at that point in your life now where it's like, how was your birthday? Oh, I worked.
Well, because why would I take off a random Wednesday? It makes no sense.
Yeah, it's not like you're going to have to work the days before and after, so.
But also everybody else works. So what am I going to be like, oh, Wednesday, everybody take off work? No. So, yeah, that's what I did yesterday. But you and I hung out last weekend, right?
Yes. Yeah.
Or whatever weekend whatever. For when we're recording, I don't understand. I
guess when everyone listens to this, your birthday will have been a week ago.
Right.
And we would have hung out 2 weeks before.
That's why I get all confused. Not that anybody listening even cares.
We went and saw a great movie, though.
I wouldn't say it's great.
I mean, I definitely laughed more than anything else. We went and saw Megan this weekend, and it was pretty much just as campy as I hoped it would be.
Well, yesterday at work, somebody was talking about it, and I'm like, do you think it's a scary movie? And she was like, yeah. And I'm like, it's not. If you're going for it to be a scary horror movie, that's not what it is.
Coming from the girl who literally was grabbing onto Nick the whole time and hiding her face.
First off, because she killed a dog.
Yeah, okay. It was
that's
a dog.
Not.
You're right.
That's not okay. That actually pissed me off, because most movies I feel like now don't even hurt animals, because people get more upset about animals getting hurt than people.
I mean, I tend to agree usually, but that dog kind of had it coming.
It wasn't a nice animal, but yeah. So I was just telling her that if you're going to like it to be a horror movie, scary movie, that's not what it is at all.
We probably should have started with a spoiler alert there.
Oh.
Oops.
I think people mostly know that, though.
I mean, I feel like if nobody's going with high expectations of the movie, so sorry if we ruined it for you. We'll gladly take the hate mail later.
Well, we prepared you. That way you're not wasting your money.
True.
Or time. Yes. What else did we do? We went out to dinner.
Speaking of wasting time and money, then we went to dinner and waited almost 3 hours for food.
Well, we waited 2 hours for food. Then we waited another, I would probably say 40 minutes after we ate our food to get our bill to be able to leave.
And then another 20 minutes for Nick's dessert that we just ended up leaving without.
I was like, no, we never got that.
No.
But I will say that Nick was 100% correct in the table behind us. They left. They didn't pay.
Oh, yeah. They 100% dined and dashed.
The only reason that I'm okay that we didn't is because it wasn't our waitress's fault.
No, but she also didn't handle it well.
I don't think she handled it that bad, to be completely honest, because I've had worse waitresses when they're fully staffed and fine. I think
True.
She did fine for what she was dealt with.
Yeah, that place was having an absolute meltdown.
It's a huge place, huge place, sports bar. They only had 2 chefs. And I want to say she said that they only had 3 waitresses or something crazy, because she ended up having to work a double. It was wild.
It was wild. But at least we got to spend some time with Aunt Pat.
This is true. I mean, it wasn't
Pat.
bad, because we sat there for a while talking anyway. So it's not like it was horrible. It's just we were waiting so long to get our food. And then it was mediocre food, which was to be expected. I mean, we kind of realized after we waited for that long to get the food.
Yeah,
it ain't gonna be
at
that
least
good.
At that point, our expectations weren't high. But
the night before, we went to the graveyard.
Yeah, why we decided, so Friday the 13th, we go up to the graveyard and we're like, you know what, let's just walk up there. It's
well,
like
let's
18 degrees.
Let's first talk about the fact that we had sat at my house just like messing around for a while. I mean, like we FaceTimed your parents, we were looking at tarot cards, and we played a conspiracy game, like just you and I. But my point is we messed around for so long, and it was like, what time? At like 10 o'clock, we're like, let's go to the graveyard. Like it's 10 o'clock at night. It's freezing freaking cold. It's so dark out. Aaron's like, why are you doing this now? I'm like, that's
because it was Friday the 13th.
I know, but like, I just meant we could have been there hours
Yeah,
before.
we did think about it really late. Yeah, before, we lost all the feeling in our legs and hands. It took hours for me to feel my legs again.
Same, and which was so funny because on the way there, you and I specifically were talking about how our legs never get cold.
Right. And then literally the entire hour drive I had after that with the heat on full blast, my legs would not get warm. We definitely did that to ourselves.
Yeah, that was an experience. And I think that's really all we did.
That's about it.
We finally got to give each other our Christmas presents.
It wasn't terribly late. We were only like 2 weeks past Christmas.
Wasn't it more than that?
2.5, 3. I don't know.
Whatever.
It was at least in January.
So that was fun.
Should we get into it?
Yep.
What do you got tonight? I think this is the first time we actually have not told each other.
No, we did it like last time we recorded. We didn't tell each other.
Oh, that's right. That's right. Okay.
So we're just going to do that from now on, because I highly doubt we're ever going to pick the exact same. And then if we do, then you get 2 versions of whatever it is.
We'll just make it one really long episode.
Oh, yeah, that's true. So I'm not going to tell you. But
all right.
Last time we recorded, we were talking about Typhoid Mary because you did the toxic lady. And so we were talking about Typhoid Mary and her cooking like a little nasty. Their hands, and this is sick. So we were talking about all of that for a while, and then an article on Ranker came up that is kind of in the line of her nasty ass cooking, and then I went down a spiral. So this is very not like anything that we've covered so far, and I'm not gonna lie, it's really gross and disturbing.
I'm so ready.
Okay, so first I'm just gonna tell you that when I was little, I was staying at a friend's house because her mom was babysitting me. She lived down the street. And because
Wait, real quick. Do I not get a question today?
No, I'll question you later.
Okay. All right. Sorry. Go on. I'm just like, I was so ready for the question.
Ask me.
I don't have one prepared. I was prepared to answer.
Yeah, I didn't.
I've been thinking about what you might ask me, but it's okay. Go on.
Okay. So naturally, if you're babysitting children, then you have to feed them. So chicken and some sort of side is like what she made us. But I have a visceral memory of this, and I was probably only 7 or 8, but I remember sitting at like her island. Like I can envision her whole entire kitchen. I can envision eating this food at this little island. Okay.
Okay.
I have never liked really eating people's cooking unless you're like my direct family. I'm probably not going to eat your food, or I'm going to be really uncomfortable eating it. You know what I mean?
Why?
Because people have like cats that walk on counters. People don't wash their hands. I don't know how long you've kept that food prepped in your freaking refrigerator. There are so many things that skeeves me out about this that I don't really like eating people's cooking.
Okay, I know you hate when I send you TikToks, but I have to send you one because there's an audio going around right now that's like a song called You Can't Eat at Everybody's House, and it always shows like gross things people are doing with their food.
Thank you. All right, so if at this point you've at least guessed that it wasn't chicken that I was fed, you're correct. It was rabbit. The bitch fed me rabbit. And then told
Rabbit's
me...
not bad.
Yeah, but she told me after I finished it. I had a pet rabbit named Bungie at my house.
At the same time?
Yes.
Oh, okay. That's wrong.
Right. And they thought it was hilarious. Like that. Like her parents thought it was like really funny. Like if you had rabbit, don't tell me then.
Okay. This actually happened to me like 2 weeks ago. Marina's husband was feeding us venison. And then when we all got done eating, he had thrown beaver in with it. And honestly, beaver is pretty delicious. All right, sorry. Back to it.
Do you feel the most powerful and beautiful with the elements of the earth around you? Do you like one-of-a-kind jewelry? Do you sometimes feel like a woodland fairy? Me too. That's why I created Holly and Hemlock, a magical shop filled with handmade wooden jewelry and metaphysical tools. Come check out our enchanting wooden wares at www.hollyhemlock.com. and join us in honoring the magic and beauty of nature with each unique creation. That's www.hollyhemlock.com.
Okay, well, I don't want to offend Marina and her husband, but I'd be fucking pissed. I would never talk to them again. I'm not lying. Don't fucking feed me shit without telling me what it is. It's like, as you can see, I'm getting very angry. It's not cool. Anyway, I just feel like it's the worst feeling, like when somebody does something, like when you don't know, you know what I mean? So anyway, I cried and I puked, and unknowingly eating bunny was very traumatic. So what could be worse?
Eating two bunnies?
Cannibalism.
Oh, okay.
Is the act of consuming another individual of the same species. So now I'm going to tell you 7 times people unknowingly became cannibals.
I'm kind of really here for this one.
Yeah. Well, I had to keep it. It was getting a little disgusting. So I had to shorten a lot. I had to like leave out a lot of details because it was like, that was nasty. Okay. So number 1 is Joe Metheny, which made me laugh so hard when I saw his last name because it made me be thinking of Metheny, your apartment neighbor.
Can I give a 30-second story? Okay,
of course.
So when I lived in Lake Orion, I loved my cheap ass apartment complex, and I had the best.
It was really
one of the
nice.
best neighbors and one of the worst neighbors in the world. So my balcony neighbor, that was T-Bone.
Oh yeah, he was.
I never knew T-Bone's real name. We always shouted to each other from across the balcony. We looked out for each other. He was sad when I was leaving. My next door neighbors, I never knew their name, but there was always like their keys would be in the doors for 5 days, or they would have packages outside for like weeks at a time.
I remember you actually thought that they were dead at one point. Like you were really concerned.
I know. I almost did like a wellness check, but I'm pretty sure they were on some hard drugs.
Mm-hmm.
So the names I came up for them were Metheny and Neck Tattoo, because I just said the first thing that came to mind. Anyways, all right, I'm done with that. Tell me the real story of Metheny.
So Joe Metheny. Okay. So in 1994, Joe, a truck driver who was living in South Baltimore, came home to find his girlfriend and child gone. So he had been, on a route for a couple weeks or whatever. And when he came home, they'd be gone. Joe and his girlfriend had a drug addiction. So kind of fits in with Metheny.
I mean, the name fits.
So naturally, he thought that she met another man to give her drugs and took to the streets, and he was going to find her. So this sent him down a spiral, like for days. That's all he did was just like look for her, tear places up, go crazy. He visited a spot that was like under a local bridge where she was known to buy drugs. He was thinking that maybe she'd be there. She wasn't. Unfortunately, there were 2 homeless men that were there. He believed that they knew her whereabouts. When they didn't, he killed them with an axe that he just happened to be carrying with him.
Seems super reasonable.
Metheny noticed a fisherman nearby. A fisherman? Fisherman nearby. And, just in case he had seen the murders, he killed him as well.
I mean, you got to cover your tracks.
This idiot dumped the bodies in the river.
That's like the worst way to get rid of a body.
Right. It turns out that his girlfriend did move across town and found another winner. And that one sold her for drugs.
Oh, well, that's the exact opposite effect that she wanted.
Well, I don't know what she wanted, to be honest. I think she wanted drugs. Metheny was arrested, and he only spent 1.5 years. He killed 3 people. 1.5 years.
How did he get out?
Well, I'm not quite sure how they figured out that it was him, but he was acquitted because they never found the bodies.
Okay. All right. Maybe a river is the way to go.
Right. I guess. All right. So we're out. We're free. What are we going to do? We're going to continue to look for his girlfriend. He finds 2 sex workers that he thought could give him information on her. They couldn't. They didn't. They wouldn't. I don't know. So he killed them. But
he's got a pretty good, MO now.
But he's not dumb this time. He's not going to dump those bodies in the river. He brought them home. He dismembered them. And the meatiest parts he stored in Tupperware. The rest he buried in a truck lot. Then he started mixing the human meat with pork and beef. And this would form into patties that he would sell at his barbecue stand.
No.
Mm-hmm. So first off, let's just backtrack a little bit. This man was arrested for 3 murders, acquitted because they couldn't find the bodies. He's allowed to open a barbecue damn stand. First off, I don't even know how he's allowed to do anything, but he opens a stand. So innocent people. If you've
butchered one body, you should not be in any sort of industry where like cutting up meat is your main. No.
Right. Innocent people were just consuming evidence. Once he ran out of that meat, he would track down more sex workers and homeless people. He killed at least 10 people, and he told the police that he received no complaints of his patties.
Well, I mean, they were obviously selling well if he had to keep going out and finding more people.
I should have wrote it down, but one of his like quotes was that he received no complaints, but also that something like he wasn't remorseful or he wasn't upset. He was just mad that he couldn't track down the dumb bitch and her new man, because those were the true people. He
never found her.
No, those were the true people that he wanted to kill, though.
I bet she would have made a bad burger anyway.
She probably was like not meaty, you know?
Ooh,
like she's probably scrawny, because if you're like a drug addict, usually like, you know, you're not eating.
You don't have too much meat on the bones.
Okay, so can you just imagine pulling up to that barbecue stand and you're like, oh, these burgers, they look good. You just be eating sex workers. Yeah.
Did they have to notify all the customers?
You
would have to.
I don't know.
Could you imagine being the person who had to make that call? Hey, did you eat at so-and-so's barbecue? Can
you imagine putting on the freaking news and you're like, oh my God, I just ate there?
Oh, no.
Okay, so number 2 is Nathaniel Bar Jonah. This MFer was arrested for sexual assault against children in 1975. This was a really, really, really dark one, and I just couldn't get into it, so I just really minimized it. Essentially, he had an 18 to 20-year sentence for the sexual assault, but he met with a psychiatrist regularly when he was in jail, and in 1991 he was dubbed fine. I'm going to tell you that the side note is that he told his psychiatrist that his fantasies were murder, dissecting, and eating children, but he's fine.
What therapist
that he met with him?
First of all, I mean, if you should never be dubbed fine if you're already in jail for sexual assault on minors.
Correct.
But then still having tendencies. What year was it?
He was put in 1975 and he was released in 1991.
Still.
What person would be like, you just told me 3 months ago that you wanted to do all of this, but you know what? You're doing a really good job. So
absolutely not.
Okay. So he gets out. Days later, he was actually arrested again for trying to kidnap a boy. But because he fled to a different town after he was released, no one followed up and no one knew his previous charges. So he was let go. He was let go. Mm-hmm. In 1996, Zachary Ramsey disappeared, and Nathaniel was living in a nearby apartment. He would apparently lure young boys there, and no one suspected him. I mean, he obviously got caught. No one suspected him, but his neighbors did note the strange meat that he would serve in dishes at the neighborhood cookouts. In 1999, he was arrested again, and police found a journal written in code. They decoded it, and I refuse to give you the names of the dishes that he wanted to cook because they were the most disturbing names, because they were all just like, I can't even. It was horrifying.
Can you give one name?
No, because I read 2. I had to mentally take them out of my brain, and then it was disgusting. Like, it was not okay. It was all about like little boys and dishes. It was disgusting. So he's known as like the man that served a little boy to his neighbors.
Why did the neighbors let him at the cookout? Why is everyone doing this over barbecue?
I know, but nobody thought he was weird. They just thought his cooking was like a little off, and they probably ate it once and like, well, I'm not eating that again. Sorry, Nathaniel.
Well, at least his wasn't as popular as the other guy, where he'd keep looking for fresh meat.
Right. Okay. Muhammad Arif and Farman Ali are 2 brothers from Pakistan, and they would rob graves for corpse curry. They were making corpse curry. Apparently, these idiots were upset and wanted revenge after their mother died and their wives left them. I didn't really find too much on all that, but apparently mom died, they're wackos, and then their wives separately left them and they needed revenge. I don't know what you need revenge for your mom dying. I don't understand, but naturally.
Yeah, so naturally eat people.
Well, yeah, you boiling flesh and cooking it into curry is the best form of therapy.
Okay, not that I want to excuse anyone's action, right? But at least the first two are more understandable in the fact that they had fresh meat, but these guys are digging up dead already corpses.
Yeah, but so it's said that they only had 2 victims. One was a child. It's really disturbing. And then essentially they say that they got caught because the house started smelling really horribly, which makes me think that they had more than 2 victims because, I mean, I know that would still smell really bad, but I don't know. But a relative of one of the victims went to visit her grave a day after the funeral, and she found it dug up and missing. So they were like snatching them like right away and making curry.
I guess that makes it a little better, but there's really nothing that makes any of this better, let's be honest.
It's disturbing. Corpse curry. Oh my God.
That just makes my stomach turn.
I know. I have to just laugh through this because it's really, really disgusting. Zhang Yangming started attacking males in 2008 that he would find walking near his home in China. So he'd see people walking by, kind of start talking to them and then like attack them. Between 2008 and 2012, he killed at least 11. His neighbors, excuse me, said that I don't think that this man really cared to hide it because it sounded like he was kind of like left to himself, but the neighbor said like he was gross, the house smelled. He'd always have like plastic bags that looked like just like bones and shit hanging out of them. Like, I don't think he really cared, but he would use various like ways to kind of hide his crimes. The best is that he sold the meat to a local market, claiming it to be ostrich meat.
No.
Can you just like randomly sell meat to markets? Like, I don't think that should be allowed. I don't think you can just be a person and just sell, you know what I mean? Like, don't you have like license and like.
Homie, I can hardly still cut meat off the bone at this age of 30 and eat things. I know,
but I can't just like, no, I know, but like, I couldn't just be like, hey, you can't, no. But clearly they shouldn't let you if they do because.
I agree.
Ostrich meat.
No.
George Beltero Negromante. Sorry. Well, George, his wife, and other women in their cult would bake their victims into pastries.
Oh, like some Sweeney Todd action.
That is so weird because he's nicknamed Sweeney Todd Cannibal.
Okay, that makes sense.
Mm-hmm. These wackadoos would trick women into their home by offering them jobs as a nanny. Or
did you just seriously use the word wackadoos?
Yeah, or they would offer them religious advice. That's how they'd get them to come to their house. There they would kill them, and Isabel, the wife, would use their flesh to make pastries. And then she'd sell it to the neighbors.
Why do so under the guise of religion? That part I don't get.
I don't know, because, I mean, maybe they would just meet women and be like, hey, do you need a nanny job? Or like, oh, you look like you could talk to somebody. Like, let's talk about God.
Oh, gosh.
I know. So they used the flesh and the pastries. The rest of the bodies they buried in the backyard. This is what's really screwed up. And I didn't put what year this was. But apparently the police chief of the town that they lived in Brazil, where this took place, was a really big fan of the pastries. So instead of arresting them, he let them go in exchange for their property that had the bodies in the backyard.
What?
Mm-hmm.
How does that make sense?
It doesn't. He was eventually arrested later because he fled and then he killed 2 more people. So they were arrested. But yeah. Hold on. I want to see if this has the year on it because I don't know. Weird. Okay. But yeah, anyway, so I'm just going to let you go because your pastries were good. Just give me your property.
And he knew there was people in them?
Yeah. He found it out.
He had to be in on it.
No, I don't think he was in on it. I think he was just like, whatever, give me your property. And then they fled. The little cult fled, but they got captured. They got arrested anyway because they killed more people and got caught.
Of course. I feel like if the cops let you get away with it once, why would you stop? You're going to think you're like invincible.
Yeah. Enriqueta Marty. So she was in the 19th century in Spain. She was a practicing witch doctor that enjoyed kidnapping and slaying street children.
Wow. Lots of hobbies there.
She also had like a brothel where she sold children. It's disgusting. But she claimed that she could cure tuberculosis and other diseases, and she would use the blood, flesh, and bones of the kidnapped children to make potions and ointments.
Okay, what is the link between eating flesh and abducting children?
I don't know.
Like, I swear to God, half these stories at least have been
About children.
It's all, ugh.
Well, yeah, so this one's unclear if her customers knew like what was in these potions. And she was eventually lynched in 1912.
Good for her.
Yeah, but yeah, she also like sold the children for sex slaves, and she was not a good woman. Not that any of these people are good. Leonarda, I cannot say her name, I'm not gonna try. So she was said to be mentally disturbed, like all these people.
Yeah, how are you not
Right.
when you're eating people?
She believed that she had to perform human sacrifices, and that this was so that she could keep her son safe, because he was sent off to World War II. So she thought that if she sacrificed, I don't freaking know. She killed at least 3 women to do this, and she used their blood to make tea cakes. And when friends would come visit, she would serve them. She also used the flesh to make creamy soup that she gave to the neighbors.
Why are they all giving the food away to the neighbors? Like, if you want to eat people, I guess. But don't feed the poor neighbors.
So that was my question, is what would you do if you found out you ate a human?
I mean, I feel like if it was soon enough, I'd make myself throw up, but
I think you'd throw up
digested,
no matter
what do you do?
I think you'd throw up no matter what, just because it's...
I would never trust anybody's cooking ever again. I would definitely be traumatized.
My God.
You know, the thing is, though, is that like these stories that you're telling and like the other ones that exist out there are only the people that got caught.
That's why I don't want to eat anything anybody serves, because I just don't know what you would be doing. Like Typhoid Mary. I don't know what you'd be doing. I ain't eating your shit.
What if I made tacos?
I would probably eat yours because I know you. So would you at least eat another human if you absolutely had to? Like if you knew you were going to, like if it was like the Donner Party, like you're going to die. The only chance is like you have to eat the dead person next to you. I think I would die. I'd just die.
If it came down to life or death, I mean...
I'm thinking it ain't meant to be. I'm just going to die too. It's fine.
I'd probably do it.
So, okay. So here's the thing. This episode is like unknowingly, or like unknown cannibalism, however, like unknowingly being a cannibal. Would that be more traumatizing to you, or the fact that you would have to eat somebody to survive?
I honestly think unknowingly eating it would be a lot less traumatizing.
Oh, I think it's more. Because it would be my choice. I don't have to eat this human. It's my choice if I want to live or die or whatever. That's my choice.
See, I think we're thinking about it the exact same way, where like in my head, but just different outcomes, right? Because in my head, I'm like, okay, if I had to choose to eat somebody, I've now like, I have decided to become a cannibal. That's a power that I have, right? So that's more traumatizing to me than being fed a human without me thinking it. Yeah, because then I haven't made the active choice to become a cannibal. One. It's something that happened to me.
Yeah.
And I feel like, at least in my brain, it's easier to get over things that happened to me rather than things I've chosen to do. But I could also see it the other way around.
Yeah, I can see it both ways for sure. But I think for me, it would be unknowingly, because I couldn't imagine, just like I said, flipping on the news and you're like, the taco stand that we eat at every time we're in Florida, they just got arrested because they were having children in their meat. Like, no.
But at least both these like situations we're talking about, like I feel like it's excusable. In an absolutely survivor situation,
yeah, like
I could excuse it, right? If
I guess okay. Take
a person
the title. Take the title. Take cannibalism out of it. Like I was going to say the stigma. There's no stigma. It's
all stigma.
Okay, take that factor out of it, right?
Mm-hmm.
I'm trying to like articulate what I'm trying. You get what I mean? Like take that part away. Like, cause we're both thinking like, oh my God, like now we have to be like, yeah, I'm a cannibal. Cause like I willingly ate a person. If you just took out the title that out of it, if you had to eat somebody to survive or you were fed somebody unknowingly, like which one is worse? Or is it still?
I still think making the decision would be worse.
Well, hopefully neither one of these scenarios ever occur in our lives.
What if it's already happened?
Honestly, probably has.
I would not be shocked with what's in American food.
Well, that, but also restaurants
like
are
when
gross.
you think about like, and cans of tuna and shit, like
I can't. Mm-mm.
things like that, they allow a certain level of like bugs or mice and stuff that get in there. You can't tell me that somebody hasn't lost like a finger in some butcher place
or a nail.
You've definitely consumed some human.
Yeah, I guess you're right. Like I found
What if it was like the best cut of meat you ever tasted though?
No. I found hair.
Like better than Wagyu.
No, I found hair in my tacos from this one place on 2 separate occasions. And now I will never, I don't care. Like I think they got a new owner. I still ain't going there.
Okay, as disgusting as it is to think about eating humans, my stomach turned worse at the fact
the
that
hair.
The hair in the taco, because there's just biting into a hair is one of the most uncomfortable things.
Yeah, but the worst part is that I got like 3 or 4 tacos and it was in every single taco both times. That's
like one long hair between them or multiple hairs?
No, multiple. Like it was in each of them had a separate hair.
That's somebody like scratching their head.
Or just like not giving a shit. That's why, to be honest, even when I go out to eat at restaurants, I have to just not think about it. Like I can't think about the fact that I'm eating because I will gross myself out.
It's kind of like when you're eating eggs and you think too much about eggs and then the eggs become too eggy. Then I can't eat them anymore.
I think that's kind of like anything.
Fair.
But anyway, so that is unknowingly becoming a cannibal.
Well, I'm glad I ate dinner before recording. But nice job. I don't know why, but I find that one, like, it's disgusting. It's disturbing, but it's interesting.
Well, that's why I wanted to talk about it, because I kind of always wanted to do a cannibal episode, but I was thinking I would just do like one person, which we can in the future. But when this Ranker article popped up and it was like, I only did 7. I think there was like 9 times people ate people and didn't know or whatever. I was like, I can't comprehend it.
It adds a whole nother level when it's like, you're not just a cannibal, and now you've unknowingly fed. Ugh, horrible. Well, good job. Appreciate it. For ruining probably the next couple meaty meals that I eat.
Aaron was like, what's the episode about? And I was like, eating people. He's like, yep, okay, I'm out.
He's been out since episode 1.
Unknowingly eating people. Yeah, so unknown cannibalism. Woo!
Perfect. Nicely done.
Yeah.
What? I'm just a little speechless after it. I know. It's just like I feel like in my head now I'm just running through so many scenarios
where you think you might have.
Would I eat people if I had to?
And you know that there's some sketchy places that you've like ate at, like vacation or whatever, like the real like locally places that you're like, yep, that definitely could have been when it happened.
Especially too, because like those dirty food trucks or like rundown diners sometimes have like the best food you've ever had.
It's probably people. Well, yeah, I mean, look at all of this. Like they were all doing barbecue.
Never going to roadside barbecue again.
Oh my god.
Is this a good time to ask our listeners to write in? Have you ever eaten people? Would you eat people? Tell us about it. Please don't if you've actually eaten people. I don't really want to know.
And what? Okay, so anyway, I just want to shout out. I want to move on.
I want to shout out Kara's pet rabbit that started this trauma early on.
Bungie
the bunny. Oh, R.I.P. little guy. Or girl.
I think it was a boy. Anyway, I was going to shout out, there's an Instagram account that like, first off, I actually really love this account, but they like really love us because they're always like liking, commenting, and every time we post anything, they're like the first to like. And I don't know if you've looked at it, but it's the Teacup and Cryptids one. Yeah. I love that account.
They post some great stuff.
Well, because they'll be like on this day in whenever, and sometimes they'll drop like a little time a cryptid was found somewhere, or like just like really cool pictures of cryptids and things. So
obviously you handle the social media. I have no skill for it. But it is interesting, like the community that's come out of it, right? Like they're always one of the first people to like it or whatnot. And we're starting to like, I don't know, find a community of other creeps like us.
Are we creeps?
I think we just talked for 45 minutes about cannibalism.
Yeah, you're so right.
Are you really asking me?
Well, but are we?
We have to be a little fucked up to do this
No, I'm
podcast.
not saying that we're not. I was just thinking, like, are we creep?
At least 10% creep. Anyways, while you sit and contemplate that, we should probably let these creeps who are listening go.
What else do you have? Anything?
No, I think we're good.
But I oddly want to go eat something. You know that? Did you ever watch, or did you have to watch in school at least? We watched, what's that McDonald's?
Supersize Me?
Thank you. Did you watch that in school, or did you just watch it?
I don't think I've ever actually watched it.
Oh,
I watched
okay.
his show afterwards, but I never watched.
So we had to watch it in health class, and the funniest thing was it's disgusting. Okay, it's nasty. Because he eats McDonald's for breakfast, lunch, and dinner for, I don't even remember what the time frame is. It's a really long time, 30 days or something crazy. It's nasty, and it shows you like his health, how his health declined in that short amount of time. Well, it's a long amount of time, but short amount of time, because of eating it all. Yet oddly, we would all, after that class, leave and go get McDonald's.
Sounds about right for high school.
I'm not going to go eat people right now, but I want to eat like a Reese's peanut butter cup or something.
I had McDonald's for dinner.
Ew, you nasty.
It's one of my guilty pleasures.
Yeah, usually when you come over, you stop at my house late at night. I feel like you've had McDonald's. Like, you're like, well, I had to get food.
Well, I also I get right out of work. I drive to your house, and then it's the only thing open on the way. Plus, I can eat it while driving.
Right,
basically.
because you don't want to eat our cooking because you don't know if we put bodies in it. But McDonald's is safe.
You don't cook for me. Your husband made a pizza last time I was there. He set out a plate for him, a plate for you. I went to take one off yours. He goes, "Oh, Kara might be hungry and eat all four." I'm like, okay, then. Well, I'm having one slice of pizza. She'll live.
I literally ate like one slice too, and I was like, I don't want this. Okay, anyway, make sure you like all of our stuff. Give us some feedback. Write us in your stories.
If you've been liking it so far too, we would love a review on Apple or Google or whatever. Spotify, yes. So we appreciate you sticking around and would love to hear your written review, words, feedback. I don't know.
Just give us your stories. I'm just going to keep begging for them every time.
Fair.
One day somebody's going to give
them.
me a story. All right. Well, until then, creep it real, oddballs.
Goodbye.
Bye.